You've gotten yourself a classroom, and the question is, now what? So, this is your challenge as a novice teacher. I want us to focus on brains and relationships this year. We're going to focus on the three kinds of engagement that our students have and the end game for those students this year. There is behavioral engagement. This is where they follow rules and complete assignments. There is cognitive engagement where they desire challenge and they're able to self-regulate. And then there's emotional engagement where they're able to actually speak to other people, talk to their peers, and ask questions of you. There are three things that you are in charge of in this class, and those three things are relationships. You can choose attitudes towards students, and you can use those attitudes to help create positive relationships. And then you should know your content and make sure that it's clear so that the students can engage in all three levels of behavioral, cognitive, and emotional engagement. But finally, you need to also make sure that you are challenging them. This is not about your class being boring. This is about your class being something that they are interested in. So the elements of an invitational education are that you and your students have trust, that you each believe that the other is providing the best possible intentions. The second is respect, that you show students respect and that you ask for that respect from the students. There's also the student to student respect that we need to make sure that we have in our classroom. And then optimism, make sure that every student knows that they can help other students succeed and that you are there to help them succeed and that they are there to help you be a better teacher. And finally is to make sure that every one of those three things is intentionally taught and intentionally repeated throughout the year. This will help with the engagement that we just spoke about. The brain and relationships is so important this year. You want to make sure that you understand that every single time that you praise those for a real reason, praise those students for a real reason, and give them a positive feedback in how they are working hard, that it creates dopamine, and you are then creating somebody who wants to keep getting that praise and those positive interactions. Remember, if every time you have a negative interaction, you're going to have 5 more positive ones to overcome that discrepancy. In addition to what we are talking about with regards to relationships in the brain, we need to help our students understand that they need a growth mindset. We're going to encourage that hard work and those good strategies to provide us lots of opportunities for those positive interactions and that dopamine. Students with a growth mindset are going to put energy into learning and worry less about looking smart. That is not just about praising, though, for being present, praising for showing up. That is praise for real productive work in trying to become the student that we want our students to be. So as our students are working in our classroom, we want to make sure that they are talking, that they are engaged with the learning, that they are creating relationships with the other students and classmates, that they are talking about the curriculum, that they are talking about the vocabulary that we need them to learn, and that they are then leading other students in that same direction, which will also provide so much energy towards that classroom that we have. As you go into your classroom, you want to think about the fact that you are going to be asking these students to work with each other and talk to each other and ask questions and work hard. You need to provide space for them to collaborate. You need to provide them tools. You need to think about how you set up your furniture. Is it pretty flexible to quickly move into small groups or into presentations? And then the strategies that you use, I would highly recommend Kagan strategies, and I will be offering several workshops and will come and coach you this year if you are interested in any of those Kagan strategies. These are group projects, group strategies, and we'll talk about those in just a second. I'll give you a little bit of an overview. And then the technology. The final thing in your flexible learning environment is you need to make sure you have technology. Make sure that it's easily accessible, that you don't have to worry too much about losing Wi-Fi or power for your products. The Kagan strategies that I recommend at this point, these are not the only ones. There are lots, but here's just a good sample of them. You want to be able to form teams. You want to sort by ability, label the desks so that everybody has a letter from A to D, and then you can quickly say, okay, my A students, I want you to do this. A mix, pair, share. So students then mix up, they pair up, they share out with their partner. They're talking to more than just the people that they came to class with. They are talking about that curriculum and engaging in the vocabulary and the thoughts that we need them to get comfortable with. Pairs and compare. You're going to give a prompt. A student works with their shoulder partner, and then they can compare with a different group from another table. Quiz, trade, where you partner A quizzes partner B answers, partner A coaches them, says that's right, or oh, you got to try to remember this, and then they switch and they become the quizzer and the answerer. Spin and think is a little protocol game with thinking questions where everybody has a part, and there are instructions for groups of 3, groups of 4, and even groups of 5. And then finally a whip, where one person from each group is called upon to present a quick answer to a classroom problem. Again, I'm going to be offering some Kagan strategies workshops, and I'm happy to come in and coach and show you how we can do some of these activities with your curriculum. Social emotional learning, again, that brain and relationship. We want to help students to develop healthy relationships and treat each other with respect. The 5 SEL competencies are self-awareness. Do they understand what their emotions and thoughts and values are telling them to do? Self-management. Do they have the ability to manage those emotions and thoughts and behaviors? Social awareness. Do they have the ability to understand other people and where they're coming from, what their emotions and thoughts might be? Relationship skills is the ability to establish and maintain healthy, supportive relationships. And finally, responsible decision making, the ability to make decisions that are good for themselves and for others. So these 5 competencies, we want to be very, very explicit as we go through the year and make sure that we are asking our students to pay attention to how they are aware of themselves, how they manage themselves, how they interact with others, how they then make decisions. You want to identify the SEL skills that you want to prioritize for your students over the year. And then essentially you want to ask yourself at the end of the year, how would you like your students to be different as learners as the result of their work with you? Be explicit with your students, be explicit with yourself. Share your daily I can statements for your curriculum, for your language, and for your social emotional learning. It's going to take a little bit of time, but if you remind students at each stage of the lesson what you want them to work toward, they will be better able to meet you where you want them to go. Finally, if we are all using the same language and pulling in the same direction, we can help our students grow so much this year. I know that we can do this. If you have any questions, these are a few of the resources that I have used to create this presentation. And again, I highly encourage you to come see me and ask some questions. Have me come in and help you with any of these items as we head into the new year. And I know that this is going to be a terrific year, and I am so excited for everybody to get here and for us to get started. Thank you very much.